Hi there, I'm Ken Lammers. Welcome to Cltv. And today's topic is going to be a tech topic rather than a legal topic. We're going to talk about why, since I have high-speed internet access, I don't really need cable anymore.
The number you have reached, 911, has been changed to a non-published number.
Hi there, Ken Lammers here. Welcome back to Cltv. Today's going to be a tech talk instead of any legal stuff. So what we're going to talk about is the movement of television onto the internet. Now, it's not 100% as much as I wish it were. But if you've got high-speed internet, you can get a lot of the newer shows, at the very least, on the internet. Now, you've been able to do this for a while, somewhat with iTunes. And if you've been, motivated enough to go out and chase them down, some shows have been on ABC, CBS, C-SPAN, CW, Fox, NBC, Sci-Fi, USA, and a whole bunch of other sites. But they've kind of been individually on these sites. Now, again, like I say, if you're an Apple user, and I'm not, I've got a Creative Zen instead of a something that works with the iTunes store. If you're an Apple user, you could pull certain things down off iTunes, and it collected a good portion of them. But there have been alternatives recently, which have been coming about. Partially, I believe, because of a snit between Apple and NBC and apparently Fox. And there's also been attempts by those who are out there providing internet-only programming to come of age. So there are two serious things that I'm going to point out to you. One's Hulu, which is at least NBC and Fox's attempt to come to the people, to come to the new medium. And the other is a program, which is actually a download program, called Miro, which is more of the attempt of online programmers to come of age and make themselves available and become legitimate. So, we're going to start out by talking about Hulu. Now, Hulu, and here's the front page for Hulu, has, TV and movie section. The movie section's not nearly as filled out as I would like it to be, and I got to say, it's actually kind of disappointing when you look down and you see all these really, wonderful names for this movie, that movie, the other movie, and then when you look closely, you realize you're not actually got the movie there. All they've got is clips. And those of you who are doing TV and movies that think that we're really, really, really interested in seeing the how it was made, behind the scenes, special footage of your show or your movie, we're not. If I really, really like your show, maybe. But, I want to watch the show or the movie, and I could care less if it's something I would, marginally want to watch. I don't want to watch the clips. I want to watch the movie. I don't want to see how it was made. Okay, now that I've given that little bit of a rant off my chest, when you go to the TV section, there's more to the TV section. The TV section has a lot of older shows, and among them, and here we'll pull up one real quick, is Adam 12. Now, there were others too, the Addams Family, all sorts of old shows, and you look at here, and it's not bad. Adam 12 on a smaller portion of the screen when you pull it up. Or if you really want to, you can make it the full screen of the of your monitor. Now, mind you, I'm running this through a monitor. I could have hooked this up to my 32-inch TV and it would have run just as well, but I just left it on the monitor for the purposes of this. So you get a pretty good show, and it works well with these, with something like Adam 12 and all that, which is made for a box, and they run well. It's streaming video, so you don't have to wait 40 minutes for it to download, which impressed the heck out of me. I mean, I have, 800, so, or 8, whatever. I have the highest level DSL I could get downloaded, and I think I'm the only person in the holler I live in that's got actually DSL, so I can get pretty good stream, and it works really well for me. And then, now, mind you, Hulu's not only just got older shows, which are kind of fun to look through. Adam 12 was one of my childhood shows when I was real young. I really liked Adam 12. But it also has some more modern shows. It doesn't carry everything. I don't think it even carries everything that NBC and Fox have, although it does have, Family Guy and Simpsons and all that. And as you see here is a full screenshot of Medium, which I think was actually the last episode. Now, part of the disappointing part of all this is that, for instance, Medium only had 4 episodes up. And then if you look back when I was talking about Adam 12, it had episodes from 2 seasons, and I don't know how many seasons Adam 12 actually ran. Looked like it had all the episodes from the first season and most of the episodes from the second, but not all of them. I'm not sure why not. But Hulu is an interesting and well worth visiting site. It is something that I hope that they expand on quite a bit. And if we've got NBC and Fox in here doing this now, the hope is that something along these lines with an aggregator will come along for CBS, ABC, and whoever else comes along. Because going to each individual site is kind of a pain. Having it all aggregated in one place like this is very useful. Now, the next thing I'm going to come to is Miro. Miro is a program you actually download yourself, and you pop it up on your screen. And here we got the front page from Miro, and you get things like you got a search, so you can search for shows you might be interested in. It's got the popular today and the just added categories, and I went through and I went through and looked at popular for like the first 15 or 20 pages and found a number of things that I liked. I will say that it's tech heavy because at this point, those people who are producing their own shows are producing a lot of tech shows, and a lot of them are high quality. It's not something if you remember what things were like when people first started doing these sorts of things, they really weren't all that high quality. But nowadays they're pretty high quality. I imagine after a while, the homemade tech shows will start to shake out, but some of them, seem to be here to stay. There were also a lot of sexually oriented shows. You'll notice that none of my folders are about sexually oriented shows. I think one of the more disturbing of those was something called Midwest Teen Sex Show, which was, I looked at like 1.5 episodes. Well, I didn't watch the whole episode. I watched parts of 2 episodes, and it was pretty clearly aimed at telling teenagers how to have sex. Which, I guess from some people's point of view is a good thing. But there were plenty of other things. There was news. You could get all sorts of news podcasts. Now, this is the one place where regular media seemed to be interacting on Miro. There were a lot of things from pretty much every news channel, Fox, CNN, ABC, NBC, CBS, all had their news blurbs that would come through, and a few of them had their talking head Sunday morning shows where the politicos came on that you could download. Now, Miro is a pretty good program. I like this. Let me tell you a little bit about how it works. It is something that you can have working in your background at all times. It downloads the newest of every channel that you've loaded up. Now, I loaded several channels, and it took a long time not a long time, but actually a surprisingly short time for all the channels to load in. And we're going to show one channel here. This is TED, and TED is, for those of you who don't know, it's a technology, think tank, uber genius conference that takes place out in the West Coast, where people meet and just have a bunch of fun, really. And it is, now what you're seeing here is when I've clicked on the TED channel, it shows those things which I've downloaded, and you're seeing 6 that I've downloaded, and the blue bar above there tells about how many are available. Now, if I click the blue bar, it'll show, now obviously because it automatically does it, it's downloaded the most recent offering, but then you see the ones below it where the little blue arrow, that means I haven't downloaded any of those yet. And then if you move on to the next site here I've got, you'll see that what happens when you click on an entire folder, and it shows you what's going on for the entire folder, everything in it. And I clicked on the tech folder I have, and it shows, pursuant to the green bar, the things that I've downloaded from it. Part of which of these are old Twit. When Twit first tried to do video and then backed off, I've downloaded those. They were archival, but they were there. And you have the blue bar above again showing how many are available. Now, if I click on the blue bar there, it goes down, and I had downloaded the first 5 that shows there, and you can see the 6th being a Geek Brief TV that I hadn't downloaded. And so it works as well with the folders as it does in the individual channel. Now, if you want to, you can click and open the folder, and it unpacks and shows you all the channels you've got in the folder. Now, we've got all these channels here in this folder, and if it's got a green dot next to it with a number in it, that means that it's got that many downloaded you haven't looked at. If it's got an orange dot, which you see up at the top, next to downloading, well, it means that many are downloading at this current time. And right here you'll see I'm selecting the channel Play Digital, which is a British channel. Usually seems to be shot out of this this young lady's bedroom, or a bedroom from a 12-year-old, actually, with the number of stuffed toys and everything around. But she's fairly brutal with her reviews of different digital games and such things. Now, if you pull open the channel, here's what you initially get. You get the, you still got your offerings on the left-hand side, and you've got a small version of the picture on the right. If you click on it, you can click it down at the bottom. There's a button which allows you to expand it for the full screen view. And here's the full screen view. Now, this time, obviously, she's not in the room that she uses for a normal studio. But it's an interesting offering. I've got to tell you, having looked at both Hulu and Miro, that Miro's better. It is, it downloads in the background. It holds on to these things for 5 days and then dumps them, apparently, which is a good thing, because if you were downloading all these high def, and a lot of these are high def programs, it would clog your system up pretty doggone quick. It does it. You can load it up in the background. You can load it up every time you open your computer up, so that it automatically starts downloading things. I didn't do that because I've got any number of programs that if I did that with would mean that my computer would eventually run as slow as molasses. But it's a good option if you're not doing anything else. I think Hulu is a good start for the network programs coming in. If they could get hooked up with something like Miro, or actually if they could adopt Miro, it would be a very good thing. Now, I understand why they probably don't want to adopt Miro, is because They don't want to give you the opportunity to have the program yourself. But, if you would embed commercials in the doggone things so that whenever I watched it, they'd be there, whether I had it for a 5-day period or not wouldn't be all that bad. But, who cares if I watch it again 4 times in a 5-day period if the Maxwell House commercials on every single time I watch it? In the end, I think that Miro is the way things should go. However, having seen how things go, the Hulu is probably the compromise, the way things are going to end up being. And in the end, that's a livable compromise because while it's not quite as good as Miro is, it's better than having all the channels, every single television channel, put up its own website and have to hunt down the websites if I want to watch a program or see if they've even got the program to watch it. So, check them out, guys, ladies and gentlemen, and I think you'll be, happy with what you see. And next time I talk to y'all, it'll probably be more about a legal topic, but we'll see then. Y'all have a good day now.